What's up everybody, it's me Johnny G and welcome back to the channel. We're going to do another unboxing video for you today, and this time it's going to be a little weird because this is technically the second time I've tried to do an unboxing for this, and the first time I didn't feel that the video that I made was up to quality. I felt like I rushed it a little bit and it was out of excitement, admittedly, but I didn't really do a good job with the video. I wasn't happy with it, so I didn't release it for you guys. I ended up deleting it in the end. But now I have another opportunity. I've bought a couple of these items already, my wife and I have, and it's just something that I want to open up and talk to you guys about because it's something that I like. And to preface this, my family, every single one of us, myself, my wife, and both of our kids are big plushie collectors. We love plushies and adore them. But this company is selling plushies out of China, and it's something that it seems like a lot of people like them, the ones that, you know, do buy from them. And then there's some controversy with the company, of course. So there's interesting points here to go over, but I just wanted to kind of unbox things and show why I like the plushies and why I like the quality, but also talk over those little points of controversy and what I see, and just to kind of give you guys a fair review, at least on my end, of the plushies themselves. Now, what we're going to be opening is a PLUSHSHOP Meow. And if you've ever seen the advertisements, whether on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, they do a lot of advertising their plushies. And what they do is they take characters from different pop culture type things or anime or whatever, and they'll create a plush that's supposed to be like a cat version of said character. And when we first found them, we first discovered them, they were creating an initial line of Hazbin Hotel plushes. Now, the biggest thing is these are unofficial products. I can almost guarantee they don't have an official license to create these. And being that it's coming from China, we know that copyright law and stuff is a bit different over there. So it's tough to tell exactly how they're doing this and how they do it legally. But from my perspective, I look at it as it's like a fan product. And it seems like what they do is when they're creating, it seems like when they're creating these plushes, that they do their like initial pre-order and they have to be able to reach so many before they can actually manufacture them. It doesn't seem like they really make a massive amount of each one, except based on the demand. They have to hit the pre-order gap first, and once they're done with that, then they move forward with, you know, further manufacturing at that point with the model. Now, the crazy thing about it is they have so many different series and things that they're doing now, and different types of these plushies, and it's kind of interesting, again, looking at it and looking at how they make them and how they get so many different characters out there. But they've had their fair share of some issues too that I've seen people talking about in the comments, as well as some recent things that have popped up that have kind of made me curious, but there still isn't a 100% guarantee on if they're true or not. And we'll get to those in just a moment. Now, initially, when we first seen them, we first seen ads on Facebook, and my wife and I ended up looking at Facebook as well as their TikTok ads, and we saw numerous ones, and it really just kind of hit us, and we were like, all right, we're gonna try and buy from them, because I looked at reviews, I looked at comments, and people really talking about the quality. And then we were in Hazbin Hotel like fan groups on Facebook and stuff, and people that were asking about the products, and we're like, hey, has anybody had experience buying these? What do you think? And a few people spoke up and really vouched for them and showed off their own pictures of them with their meows, and some of them even videos. And I was like, oh, this is cool. It looks like they're pretty cool quality. They look decent. And price-wise is what I'd pay, probably less than what I'd pay for this size of a plushie at a convention, if I were to buy from like an anime convention or something like that. And under the circumstances, again, I view it in a way as like a fan product, that it's unofficial. It's kind of bootleg, but in a way it's not bootleg like some of these where you go and look and there's an official version of a plush for this character, but then you go on this website and this is an unbranded knockoff that looks similar to the official one, but it's kind of weird. It's got a weird face or weird stitching, or it's screen printed, whereas the official plush is embroidered in certain areas, and you know, so on and so forth. I could go down the list with things like that. So we decided to take a chance. And with the first video, we had ordered, my wife wanted Alistair and Vox, and I wanted Angel Dust. They were the only ones that we were interested in at the time that were available. So we ordered them, and the first two that came were Vox and Angel. And I unboxed Angel, and I did a video, but again, I was just so excited. I was tired. I wanted to take a nap, but I was so excited to have the plushie finally and to check it out. And when it came, I was even more excited. I went through the video, I tore the damn thing open, and I was like, oh my God, it's this and that. I was pumped, but at the same time, I just didn't feel it was a good quality video. So I ended up deleting it, and now we're gonna unbox a different one. In this case, the one inside here I have is Octavia from Helluva Boss. Now, we have multiple. I have Angel Dust, I have Niffty, we have Serpentious. My wife has Vox and Alistair. We have Loona and Beelzebub. And then our kids, for Christmas, got Yuji Itadori. Toby got Yuji, and Andy got Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. So they have all kinds of other series and things. And again, one of the other things that I wanted to bring up, and this revolves around not just Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss, but this revolves around My Hero Academia as well. They make My Hero Academia characters into these meows, these cat plushies. Apparently, recently there was a thing with them, and I don't know, again, I don't know how true this is, because a lot of it came from reading comments on social media posts and questions and so on and so forth that seemed to be speculation from people who regularly buy the plushies. But there was some time here recently where all of a sudden the plushies from those series were all taken down. And like on the Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel side, it seemed like they had potentially used what appeared to be a leaked song from Hazbin Hotel Season 2 in one of their advertisements they make. And their advertisements are usually really cool, where they'll either use like meme sounds or things like that, or they'll use official songs from the source to show off like an upcoming or a new release pre-order or new release plush. So it seemed like they may have used one of those, and it got taken down, and in the process of that, they took down the plushies. Now, I don't know how much of that is true, because they're re-releasing the plushies now, and they're doing them in like small lines, a couple at a time, and they're only limited to so many pieces, and if they sell out, they sell out. And after X amount of days, they take them down off the shop. My Hero Academia kind of had a similar thing. Now, that one I don't know for sure if there was a similar deal with the advertisement or whatnot, but I know that they went and took a whole bunch of them down, except for a couple, like the main ones like Izuku Midoriya and Katsuki Bakugo were still on there. And there was like one or two others that they still left up. And then once they sold out, they went down for a while, but then all the others went down as well. But it seems like they're trickling back in limited quantities and things as well, as new ones and so on and so forth. So it's tough to say for sure what happened there. Now, the other major thing to bring up is some people have reported receiving potential stolen artwork related things with their plushies. Now, I do know that what they do is sometimes they will include freebies with things, or they do this special packaging where you can order a plush and you can order a gift bag packaging, which usually comes in a box like this. Now, that's what's strange. Most of the time, any of the ones that we've bought have come in a plastic shipping bag, and they've been taped up heavily with PLUSHSHOP branded tape to keep them secure. And the plush is usually like vacuum sealed down inside. So I've never gotten in a box before. That's kind of strange, but they usually sell these gift boxes, and it comes with a fancy drawstring bag and some bonus freebies and stuff in there with your plush. And it can be anything from keychains to little like postcards and so on and so forth. And people have called them out for supposedly using stolen artwork. Now, I've never received anything like that, so I can't validate those claims. I haven't looked it up to see from other people. All I've ever gotten was the plushies, and I've enjoyed them every time that we've gotten them. And it's been a lot of fun getting them, but seeing some things like that is definitely off-puttish to people, and I can understand why. So, those things aside though, all we're gonna review today is the plush itself and the quality of the plushes. We're going to talk about it, and I'll show you and talk to you why I like them, essentially. But it does seem, I will say, as far as the artwork and things, now I have watched a few of their recent lives because of the fact that they had some new plushies, and I was curious about the stuff with the Hazbin and Helluva Boss ones, because like the Octavia pre-order, I've had that in since last year, I believe, or early this year, something like that, and it was supposed to be a couple months. It was supposed to release at the beginning of March, and that's in around the same time that they took them all down, so she didn't come out right away. It was a little bit more delayed. But I have seen a couple of their more recent lives and things, and it seems like when they're like talking about the freebies and showing off and sometimes they'll let you pick if you're ordering stuff while they're live. You can give the order number and they'll tell you, oh, you can get some of this stuff with your thing, whatever. It seems like now, like the keychains they're trying to give or whatever are just like little keychains of the Meow plushies, acrylic ones that show their pictures of their plushies and so on and so forth. So hopefully, if they were genuinely using stolen artwork and stuff, hopefully they quit doing that. They made up for it. And maybe that was part of the issue. Maybe those kind of things could have been why these certain lines of plushies and things were taken down for a limited time. Maybe it was the fact that they took things down and because of needing to correct that kind of a thing. I don't know. Hopefully they did correct it. Hopefully it's not an issue in the future. But all I know is I like the plushies. My family loves the plushies. And I'm excited to unbox Octavia finally. So without further ado, I've taken up enough of your time rambling about the early stuff. Let's unbox her. Hope that there's nothing else in here. And then maybe I'll grab a few of the others to show you which ones we have. So here we go. There is a nice little thing with this box though. It's a little pull tab, so that's pretty cool. Well, like I said, I didn't get anything else into your anime-verse. So, and looks like that's it. So see, she's in here and she's vacuum sealed. Nothing else in the box. It is empty, so that's cool. And there's just some vacuum sealed PLUSHSHOP branding. So now we just have to open her up. And doesn't look like they have any of those little notches on the plastic, which is fine. That's just something I typically look for with some vacuum sealing like this, but I've never had that before where they put those notches on, so we're just gonna cut it. I've got my little knife here, and then tear the top off. Poof! Well, as you can see, she's already poofed up really, really well. But it's just nice to kind of fluff them up a little bit when you first get them. Now, I do know another thing that they do is for the creation of the plushies, to make them as soft and whatnot as they do, they use a faux rabbit fur. So it's fake. It's a synthetic material, a synthetic fiber, but it is very, very soft. She's very fluffy and soft. Ooh, her hat is sewn on, which is cool. Some of them will come with an accessory or a hat that is removable. So like our Serpentious, his hat is removable, which also includes like the whole like serpent hood that, you know, comes around behind his neck that looks like his hair and stuff. That's all attached to the hat, which is kind of cool. Alistair came with the mic staff, but it was like a complete little separate accessory, and just a couple other little things like that they'll do. Very, very cute, very detailed. The eyes are embroidered, the mouth, the nose, all embroidered. Little stitching and stuff around here, details are embroidered. And then you got some stuff like in here in the ears, where this is embroidered and soft and thin and whatnot, embroidered details. The stars here are embroidered, and then they've got the little paw prints on the bottom. The tail is really cute, extra soft, very fluffy, and as you can see, she's huge. They usually make these, they're like 17, 18 inch, so they're a really big plushie, really good to squeeze, really good to hold and to hug. And probably one of my only complaints that I really have about them is the fact that sometimes you get these little like hair pieces that they'll put on, right? And it's obvious that what they use is like a piece of like a material in the middle, and the fur is attached by like some sort of a glue or something. And sometimes, and it's going to be hard to see here, but you can see there's an edge to it. And on some of them, sometimes it's just like the fur is starting to lift up around those edges. And it's just an interesting little thing that sometimes you see, but it doesn't really take away too much. It can just feel a little rough around those edges sometimes. But I have noticed that if you take like a little hairbrush or something and brush along some of the fur, you can kind of cover that up and make it a little easier. Now, one of the other interesting things that I like about them, besides the fact that they're so big and so fluffy and so soft, is just the fact that, again, that it just overall feels and seems like a very high quality plush for something for what it is. And besides having the likeness of these characters and being so comfortable and fluffy to you know, hold and to use, is they also seem very easy to clean. So if you get something on them, it's best to spot clean them. I haven't tried putting anything in a washing machine yet, but it just feels like I can spot clean them, treat them pretty easily. They wash well, they dry well. And another thing that I like is I have had nothing but good customer service from the company. And the reason I say that is one of the others that I just realized I didn't mention before was Charlie from Hazbin Hotel. Now, when we got Charlie, she came in, opened the air sealing, the packaging, and took her out. And I noticed when I was just kind of checking over her and everything, I noticed that around back here, so you guys can see there is kind of like a seam and stuff where you could see where they sew stuff together. In around here, she had a popped seam, and it kind of looked like it may have been a slight machine error. You know, maybe it didn't tack things down the right way, ran out of thread, whatever the case may be. She had a popped seam. So I emailed them. I found the customer service contact email, emailed them. It wasn't even 24 hours. I had a response. And it wasn't your typical response where like, and maybe they used some sort of a translator or something. That's cool. Or it's just somebody that understood English a little bit better. But sometimes you get customer service from a place like that, and it's the email's a little bit of a broken English or something. Nothing wrong with that. But it's just one of those things where the response I got from them was, again, not even 24 hours later. And it was like a very grammatically correct and nice email. And they were so excited to help and correct the issue. They offered to replace her completely, or they were going to give us, I think it was a partial refund on Charlie if we were willing to sew her up ourselves. And I said, we're crafty people. My wife and I can handle sewing her up. That's no problem. I don't want you to have to go out of your way and replace her. She's in great shape otherwise, so we'll sew her up. What kind of thread do you recommend? They came back to me within another couple of hours and said, if you could just get like a heavy duty thread or an upholstery type thread, you should be able to sew her up and she should hold pretty well. Just a simple stitch. They gave me all kinds of information, and I even think they sent me like some video links just in case for like certain types of stitches that they thought would be very good. And they explained that it's not the first time they've run into that issue. They said that they've seen that kind of stitching happen either as a machine error, or sometimes it happens because of the vacuum sealing process. Releasing the pressure pops the seam. Whatever the case may be, within a very short amount of time, we already had responses. They corrected the issue. We corrected it. We sewed her up. Looked like new, no problem. And they sent me a partial refund. I think they gave me half of the money back, or it was like 50% or something back off of it. And we used that towards another one, I think. So something like that. I think that's what it was. It was in a credit, but whatever the case may be, we used it towards, I think when we got Serpentious, but it was just, my customer service experience with them was wonderful. The order process is very simple, very easy, and we've never had anything extremely long or delayed. It always comes fairly quick. Whenever it ships, it's usually within a week and a half to 2 weeks tops that we have it, till it comes to the US, goes through customs, clearance, all of that. And then once it passes through customs, it's only a couple days and boom, it's here. And that's just kind of our experience so far. So overall, I really like the quality of the plushies. I like the feel. I like how soft they are. We've never really had any major issues or anything. And again, the majority of the reviews and things that we've seen have all been great. So let me go grab a couple of the others and we'll show you just for example, so you can see what the others look like with me holding them. I'll be right back. All right. So I grabbed a few of the examples here of the other ones. Just the ones that were on my side of the bedroom real quick. First and foremost, here's Charlie. Now, as I said, we had to fix her ourselves. And the seam that popped was right around back here at the back of her neck. And as you guys can see, it really doesn't look at all like it. You wouldn't notice it because we fixed it and then brushed the fur over. Now, again, really cute with the embroidered eyes, the way the ears are. Some of them are a little taller with the ears, some of them a little shorter, it seems. Cute little paw prints embroidered on, and the little tail. That's Charlie. Here is Beelzebub from Helluva Boss. Got her little hair flapping across. She's really cute. And another thing I've noticed about them is there's her little wings on the back, and she's got a fluffier, thicker type of tail. But one of the other things I've noticed, like her in particular, she went through a redesign. There was some issues and things with the initial like artwork and stuff that they put out in the initial sample that they had, where they put out the details, started the pre-order and everything, and people said, oh, wait, look at this. It should be more like this or whatever. And in some cases they listen and they'll redesign it. She went through a redesign, so it's pretty cool. Before it actually comes out, you get to see a different version. Now here is Niffty. Nifty's funny because of course she only has one eye, but she's extra poofy there and that little grin, but she's super fluffy. Again, there's the tail. I'll smack myself with it, but very, very nice. She's a fun one. Niffty I was so excited about, and anybody who knows, Niffty is my favorite Hazbin Hotel character. And well, as soon as they announced that she was coming, usually I'm the one that finds the stuff and sends it to my wife first when they have announcements, or whether it's with this or anything in general. But she was like on the ball that day apparently, and she saw it and sent it to me, and I practically screamed because I was sitting at work and I'm like, and I sent her a message. I'm like, I need. And I think the next time we got paid, I pre-ordered. Here is Loona, who I was very, very excited to get Loona. Loona came to me just after we got back from the beach last year. I had her pre-ordered and she was like set to ship, and she shipped, and it took like an extra couple days getting out of China. So she was the only one that we've had a longer shipping time on. And it just kind of was like, but is what it is. But she's got her little collar, which actually has Velcro on it. You can take it off, and she's got a fluffy tail, extra fluffy compared to B. She's got a big one like B, but it's still, she's got extra fluffy, got her little earrings and stuff over there. The embroidery again, she's awesome. And then of course, my OG, the first one I got, Angel. I got Angel Dust. He's adorable. So that's just a few additional examples of the ones that we have and looking at the quality of them. Another one that went through a redesign, but actually kind of has just two versions out there, was Osmodeus from Helluva Boss. There's still some stuff that people weren't 100% happy with, because like they thought that they could have done a better job with Ozzy and having like his stuff around his head, making it look like his other faces and stuff, but they didn't. They didn't really do that. They redid like coloring, so they have two different versions of his color scheme, but is what it is. That was another example of a redo job that they did. But they have so many options out there. And again, even if you're not a fan of these ones, they've had My Hero Academia. They just recently brought out Attack on Titan, they have Levi and Eren Yeager for Attack on Titan. Genshin Impact is one of the first ones that I ever seen that they were doing. They have Genshin Impact characters as Meows. Hutao is one of the ones that caught my attention. I'd love to have her. But they had Persona as well, Persona 5. Recent other ones, Ratchet and Clank. They have Ratchet and Rivet from Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I think is the game's name. I can't remember. I have it, but haven't really played much of it because I'm still playing the older games in the series. And one thing that gets me a little bit now is they just recently launched the Beastars line based on the Beastars manga and anime. And it's funny because of the fact that these are Meow plushes, okay? They're the PLUSHSHOP Meow is what they're branded as. They're all supposed to be like cat-like, and they give them the cat ears and stuff, and it's their own little personal touch on the character. But Legoshi, the character Legoshi from Beastars, is a wolf. He's a wolf. Well, if they'd have thought about this, they made him actually look like a wolf with the meow. If that was something they had thought of sooner, like Loona being a hellhound could have been more hound-like, you know, stuff like that, because he's doing pretty good enough that they decided to do more. And now they have Louis coming out as well, the deer, and he's got the actual little deer ears and antlers and stuff on him. So that's kind of their first real departure, I think, into some other stuff. Now they're also doing little mini plushies and plush keychains that are more humanoid character looking things, but it's just one of those where it's fun to see that they're doing other animal style plushies in that the same body appearance like this, where they're doing like the sitting front paw kind of stance like this, the position with those more animal like ones. So I'm kind of anxious to see if they do others. But I am waiting on Legoshi and Ratchet and Rivet and Demon Charlie. They had the demon form Charlie from Hazbin Hotel are also coming. And I'm kind of anxious to see if they do any other Beastars ones, because I'd love to have Haru, if they make Haru the bunny, to go with Legoshi. But if they do some of like the Shishigumi, I think was the name of the one gang that Louis ran for a little while. Characters like that, I'd love to see how they come out and stuff. Or maybe even the panda, the Dr. Panda dude that has the scar on his face and stuff like that took in Legoshi for a while. Characters like that would be really cool to see them come to life. And who knows, I would love to see if maybe they do a couple characters from Fortnite, like Meow Skulls or Raven Team Leader or Cuddle Team Leader, stuff like that would make really cute plushies like this. Or I'd love to see Arknights. I'd love to see Arknights done with the meows and stuff like that. They would just be so cute looking at like the Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail and characters like that they've done in the meow form, bringing them over to a format like that. So overall, this was just a little unboxing, and again, I wanted to talk about the plushies and why we like them, and kind of talk over the things that I've read and heard about them, and just say that, you know, from my personal experience, I haven't run into any of those problems or like the artwork and stuff. And as you guys saw, there was nothing else included in my packaging, so I didn't get that. And I hope that if that is true, I hope it was corrected, because I'm all for crediting the author or creator or whatever the case is. The artist, they deserve the credit, and it doesn't deserve to be stolen. But again, we know how copyright law seems to be completely different over there. So just a little final wrap up. Now, if you guys have ever bought a plushie like this or bought from PLUSHSHOP, let me know in the comments. Let me know who you picked out, or if you have something similar, or just in general, if you're a plushie collector, what's your favorite plushie that you have? Overall, actually, if I were to be honest, I do have a giant Victini somewhere from Pokemon, and he is probably a little bit bigger than what these are, and he's just so adorable. That is one of my favorite, if not my favorite plushie of all time that I have somewhere. My wife has a giant Piplup that probably sits close to my height where I'm sitting right now, that she got at a carnival years ago and stuff like that. We have some plushies sitting around that are massive, and then a lot of smaller ones too. But let me know what your favorite plushie is, or if you've ordered a PLUSHSHOP Meow as an alternative, and we'll talk about it in the comments. That being said, guys, I appreciate you all for taking the time out of your day to hang out here and watch my videos on the channel. I hope you guys are having a great time. whether it's day, night, whatever that you're watching this. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new to help me to continue to grow and reach my goals. And right now that consists of YouTube Partner as well as the Arknights Headhunting Program. With that said, that's it for this video, and I will see you guys next time.